Netflix One Piece just did the impossible. But what is the secret to the show's success? From the very first trailer, it was obvious that NetPiece would outperform the likes of emaciated Piccolo and Stanknote, but it wasn't so obvious just how far it would rise above expectations. And yet, here we are. In short, live-action One Piece has smashed records by hitting #1 on Netflix across 86 countries, beating the numbers set by Stranger Things and Wednesday to become the show with the most one-day top spot viewership rankings in the platform's history. In terms of its critical reception, the show has received a 95% audience score and 83% from the Tomato Meter casuals over on Rotten Tomatoes, an 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and 5 disembodied Charles heads out of 5 disembodied Charles heads right here on Juicy Nuggets. This kind of response is practically unheard of when it comes to live-action anime and manga adaptations. For good reason. But why is NetPiece succeeding where other adaptations have failed? Obviously, the creators did a good job with the script, the casting, the cinematography, and the other fundamentals of filmmaking, but what really put the wind in NetPiece's sails is that it struck the right balance between being respectful and being refreshing. The biggest problems with most live-action adaptations are that the production team just doesn't care about the source material, or they think their own crappy fanfiction is an acceptable substitute for what captured the hearts of fans in the first place. We've seen the studios disrespect classic tales time and time again, but NetPiece has delivered a series that truly does respect the manga it's based on. The characters look and act how you'd expect them to, the story hits all the key beats, the show is loaded with Easter eggs for fans, and most importantly, it captures the feel of One Piece. Usually adaptations distort the essence of the original in ways that make bald stock footage men grit their teeth, but surprisingly, Tomorrow Studios has actually retold the opening chapters of One Piece with both dignity and care. That said, if Tomorrow Studios did try to do a one-to-one adaptation of the manga, firstly, various things that worked well in the manga format would likely become an awkward mess in the live-action format, and secondly, it would be a pointless adaptation because we already have the manga, the anime, and the episode of East Blue. So fortunately, this new take on the East Blue saga is as refreshing as it is respectful. The show hits all the important plot points, but the ways in which many of the scenarios play out are brand new, and these refreshing twists are among the show's greatest strengths, especially because they make NetPiece feel like a familiar but also a new experience to fans who have already read and watched the two-dimensional East Blue saga multiple times. From the character introductions to the sequence of events to the zoom in on Cody and Garp's relationship to how the Straw Hat backstories are woven into the present. In the broader sense, you will pretty well know what is coming, but not exactly when or how things are going to unfold. Of course, if the changes sucked, then it would be a different story, but for the most part, the remixed scenarios actually turned out for the best. For example, instead of across the streets of Orangetown, the confrontation with Buggy unfolds in the middle of a sadistic circus show that makes Buggy creepier than ever, and the conflict with Captain Kuro takes place entirely within Kaya's mansion, as a horrifying game of hide and seek instead of a drawn-out battle by the seashore. The new take on the Black Cat Pirates scenario is atmospheric, and it's different, but the key pieces from the manga are all there, right down to Usopp courageously but ineffectively making a stand, to Zoro destroying the Nyaban siblings, to Luffy ultimately demolishing Captain Kuro with the Gomu Gomu no Kane finisher. Of course, throughout the series, many of the other henchmen battles are pared back or eliminated altogether so that each episode doesn't play out like a bloated fan service checklist, and although I was sad to see classic characters like Django get the axe, it was the right call to focus on capturing the essence of One Piece over the everything of One Piece. These changes and a few others are sure to ruffle the rowlets of some diehard fans, but all in all, NetPiece is a respectful tribute to Eiichiro Oda's work that also stands on its own thanks to various refreshing twists on the original story. And it's achieved what many people thought was impossible, making a great live-action adaptation of the One Piece universe.